Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 90 of the International Pentagon Challenge. Now, the last time we met was quite a long time ago, and the reason for that is because the last time we met was when we emerged as the 2037 Nations League champions. Quite fortunate, really, to win throughout the entire tournament, but we managed it in the end. And as you can see, we qualified for the World Cup very, very comfortably. Didn't drop any points whatsoever, and for that reason we finished top of our group, and for that reason here we are for the 2038 World Cup, believe it or not, hosted in South Korea, where South Korea on home soil have managed a 1-0 victory against Italy. So credit where it's due to them. And another interesting result as well was Switzerland absolutely demolishing China 6-0. But then again, you know, we saw it happen to Saudi in real life, and we've seen some very big scorelines so far in the World Cup in real life. So credit where it's due to Switzerland for managing to pull that off. But that all to one side, we have a relatively easy group. Scotland, Saudi Arabia, us and Mexico. Now, not really looking forward to playing the Mexicans for obvious reasons, but good luck to them. Now, in terms of the build-up to this tournament, I mean, I think ever since I took over as the Spain manager, believe it or not, even though we've had a relatively easy ride so far, I've not really been too pleased with our performances. I've kind of tinkered with a variety of different tactical setups, and I'm still not really happy. I don't really give much weight into these results, because when you are Spain, you don't even have to play well to put 3 goals past Northern Ireland or 2 goals past Norway, with all due respect. As you can see, this is kind of where we started to struggle. We lost 2-1 to Germany. I wasn't really happy with what I saw. We conceded a 90th minute goal. I started playing around with tactics a little bit. We kind of tried to play with a bit of a fluid 4-4-2 with a false 9, so it was more of a 4-2-3-1. And while we dominated more of the ball and played better, we weren't as kind of crucially decisive in the final third. So I think I'm going to stick with my gut feeling in the build-up to this. You know, we've tried out different tactical scenarios, and I feel like what has given us success up to this point is switching between, or rather playing with the 3-4-3 and switching to a more deeper possession-based system in the 4-3-3, like what we did in the Euro Nations, and we won that, and like what we did in our World Cup qualification. So, you know, I'm going to stick with that as we progress through this World Cup, at least for the group stages. And obviously, we could see the 4-4-2 come out if it feels like it's the right thing to do, and other weird tactical changes, again, depending on the situation in which we find ourselves in. So first 2 games, Saudi Arabia and Mexico. Mexico will be the next episode, but now we're going to be playing Saudi Arabia. So that should be a relatively easy win on South Korean soil. Let's find out. Okay, so there were a lot of requests for faces to be put on my players, and as you can see, I've done exactly that. Hopefully they look relatively Spanish enough for you. I think they kind of do. I'm kind of convinced that this guy isn't a real guy. I think the face pack I've got kind of molds Sergio Ramos, like the bottom of Sergio Ramos into the top of Cesc Fabregas. Like, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like that. And I know that the face pack that I use for these custom faces, some of the faces have been created by moulding 2 real footballers' faces into one. So, yeah, but he does kind of look Spanish, so that's the important thing. But anyways, 3-4-3 from us. Julian Manzanek and Akete. Oh, God, I forgot how to pronounce this now. I should have gone back to check. I think it was Akeche. Akeche. I should go... I'm going to go and check. Right, okay, so I tried to go and find that comment where someone told me how to pronounce the name, but YouTube comments aren't working at the moment. Fortunately, I googled it, and apparently it's Akech. I might end up saying Akeche. I'm sorry if I do, but I'm trying my best here. No habla español, you see. Even though we managed for years at Mexico and have been managing for years in Spain. Alvarez on the right. Ogude is actually playing on the left instead of... what's he called now? Lecueva. While Lecueva still plays for Barcelona, and while he's still a very important player for me, he's 33 and doesn't have as much pace. So I feel like he's a better option when I need a bit more experience in the side. Is really, I go off gut feeling a lot of the time. I feel like he has better mental attributes, but against the Saudi Arabians, who aren't quite as good as us, I feel like the more physical player will make more of a difference. Antony and Gil in midfield, Roberto Osoro, Miguel, with Villanova in goal. Okay then, here we go. We're in South Korea. Certainly looks like a bit of a small stadium for a World Cup, but apparently it can fit 75,000 people in it. So, you know, we'll believe you, Football Manager, for now. We'll believe you. So obviously these corners are going to be really, really important for us. We don't have dedicated set-piece takers, mainly because I like mixing it up. And this is exactly why set pieces are going to be very important for us. And to be honest, using Miguel's 200 centimetres at that front post has actually been a really positive part of our play in the build-up to this World Cup. It's very difficult to get him to be effective against the top-class defenders, but as you can see in games like this, group games against weaker sides, not as physical sides like Saudi Arabia, we're doing pretty well in terms of getting balls into the box and dominating aerially, as well as 70-odd% possession thus far. So far, so good. Akeche is playing as a false 9 rather than the complete forward. I interchange that position when Akeche is playing there. And I also have those two kind of wide strikers man-marking Saudi Arabia's wing-backs, who are going to be looking to push forward, especially now that they are 1-0 down, just to try and protect the wingers that we have. Bear in mind, we're playing here with 3 centre-backs and no full-backs. But I just find that when you get those 2 strikers, helping out a bit more defensively, takes the pressure off a little bit on those 2 wingers who are on support duty, so that they can kind of almost act as wing backs. Now, I did want to play a 5 at the back approach initially when trying to craft out the 3-4-3, if you guys remember that far back. But it's tough because in my books, there isn't, or there shouldn't really be that much different between someone who can play as a winger support and someone who can play kind of like as a wing back. But we know what Football Manager is like, and to be honest, a player with a kind of red positioning in that kind of scenario, it will significantly hinder his performance. So we did have to make changes in order to try and fit the players in as best as possible. So in terms of, you know, us struggling tactically and me not always being 100% happy with what I'm seeing, I do think we will walk the group. And we'll probably walk past whoever we get in the final 16 naturally because of who we are. It's up against the big teams where I think we're going to struggle and where we're going to have to improvise. And also, like we saw at the Nations League, hope we've got a little bit of luck on our side. Now, on paper, it's kind of like, well, you're Spain. Why should you be wishing for luck? Why do you want, you know, to just improvise on the fly? You've had plenty of time to put together a solid tactic. But sometimes it's just difficult to get the players to gel. Sometimes, you know, you huff and puff and you just can't get your players finishing in the final third. A lot of the games we had in the build-up to kind of the World Cup qualifiers, I find that we create a lot of chances because of the quality that we have up against poorer opposition, and we've had quite a lot of chances so far, a lot of headers from inside of the box, but we're just not able to finish them. Very similar to what we had with Mexico a lot of the time, but with Mexico, you've got an excuse because you've not got Real Madrid strikers and Barcelona strikers. So that is really our issue at the moment. Hopefully we can get a second goal and just, you know, put this game to bed. So Gil, deep line playmaker, is going to be headed away by Al-Mutallaq. Julian picks it up. Taking their time are the Spanish boys, and Alvarez, well, Very unfortunate not to find the back of the net there. And that's a very good example of the types of kind of clear-cut chances or situations that we have. So you notice we drew 1-1 to Argentina in a friendly just before the beginning of this World Cup. And Argentina are obviously very good opposition to test against. We had 4 clear-cut chances to their 1. Like, we were by far the better side. But just not clinical enough, unfortunately, even though we have some of the world's best strikers. Like, for example, for some reason, the bookies think Manzanek is going to finish top goal scorer of this World Cup. And personally, I just can't see it, because while he scores goals for fun for Real Madrid, for me, he just misses far too many easy chances. And here we've had 30 minutes gone. The stats speak for themselves. We're maybe not as creative as we should be, but with some of the chances that we've seen, it would have been nice to really do more than just hit the target. And I find that we are, despite our creative quality, very wasteful in the final third. I find that our playmakers centrally can't unlock opposition defences like their attributes suggest they should be able to. And then this happens, and we've just conceded to Saudi Arabia. And this is really what I mean. We will dominate games, we will play well, and then the 3 at the back, for some strange reason, even though we have very physical, very fast centre-backs, the opposition will eventually get a counter-attacking opportunity, find space to run into, and find themselves in on goal and score, and that's exactly how Argentina got their equaliser against us. And now all we can really do is just keep huffing and puffing, keep doing what we do best, and hope that we do actually take a chance like that. And Akeche puts that over the bar. So Alvarez is going on a bit of a run, finds Julian, who's going to get tackled there. He's already on a yellow card, is Julian. And it's really not... He didn't need to get tackled there. You end up giving the ball away, and then, you feed into the counter-attacking Saudi Arabians. And fortunately for us, Julian has actually figured out a way to hit the back of the net. So long may that continue. And we have our lead again against Saudi Arabia. I'm not really worried, because I think Saudi Arabia scored from their first shot on target. What worries me again is the fact that we've had quite a few shots on target, 6 to be exact, and we just don't hit the target. El Shamari is in. It's going to be cleared by Laqueva. Now we find ourselves a little bit under the cosh. And Mualled to Sakakir. Soro is trying to win that ball back, and Gil does exactly that. And Menzenek now, he's not got much support unless he can find Akeche, which he does. And there we have it, ladies and gents. 4 minutes is all it took us to get that 2-goal advantage that we wanted. Saudi Arabia have had 1 shot on target and 1 goal. And now we can make some minute changes and, make sure we've got some fresh legs on for the forthcoming games. So 1 substitution. Raul comes on at centre mid. Never thought I'd ever hear myself have to say that. Just a warning, you might bump into some players that don't have faces. And that's mainly just down to time constraints. Because I did mention this in a previous video, but I am going to mention it again. There could very well, in the next 3 weeks or so, be a period where you might only get 2 episodes a week. Or a period where there may not be any episodes at all. The reason for that is because I'm going on holiday for 3 weeks. What a goal. And I am going to be... I'm not going to have a computer, basically. I'm going away for 3 weeks. I'm not taking... And I'm a software developer, so this is a bit new to me. I'm not going to have a laptop or a computer. I just kind of want to get away from life at the moment. And try and really enjoy my holiday. So, yeah. Depending on how many episodes I manage to record prior to going on holiday and edit, of course, that will really define. Go on, 5. No, that is such a Spanish attempt to score. Just pass, just bloody shoot at the goal. Yeah, so depending on how much I manage to edit, how much I manage to record, that'll define how many episodes you guys get in the next 3 weeks. But the good news is, obviously, we've got until November for FM19 to come out, and obviously the aim is... I mean, FM19 can come out and we can still keep doing this series. It doesn't really bother me. But I usually do when it comes every year. Like last year we had the Blackburn save, and my aim was to kind of win the Premier League again with Blackburn Rovers before FM18 came out, and we managed to do that. And we're quite close to finishing this challenge actually this year. I'm not sure if I will be doing any FM19 series videos next year. But, yeah, I am hoping that we'll get this series done and dusted before FM19 comes out. I am planning on doing FM19 tactical videos though. I'm planning to really do more of them, so if you are into them, you will enjoy it. It is also worth mentioning that if I look shinier than usual or look like I'm wiping sweat off my nose, that is because it is absolutely boiling today in England. It's the 26th of June for any English people watching. Yes, the day where somehow, I swear to God, it's like, I was in the car driving home from work today, it said 38 degrees. I mean, I'm not quite sure how accurate that is. So 38 degrees is pretty impressive by England's standards, as we know. But there we go, Miguel finds our 5th goal of the game. I just wish we were a little bit tighter at the back, but given the fact that we are playing with 3 centre-backs and no wing-backs, sometimes that's something you have to deal with. And it's also why we switched to the 4-3-3 to play with 4 at the back, to give us a bit more coverage in the wide areas when we play against the better teams. So, yeah, as I was saying, it is absolutely boiling here. I think one of the stadiums in Russia at the moment in the World Cup, in real life, not here in our virtual South Korean World Cup, is called the Cauldron. My room at the moment really does feel like a cauldron because, well, you've got my computer fans giving out hot air because I'm playing Football Manager. 6 goals, wow. And my bedroom door is closed, which means all the warm air gets trapped inside of my room because I'm obviously recording a video, so I don't want any sounds from outside to cause us problems. I wonder, like, if in 2038 you've got all the players going up to the referee and just doing that. VAR. What do you think of VAR? Let me know in the comments below. I have my opinion on it. I like it. I think it's a good thing for the game, but I think it may have been introduced a little too early, or in true FIFA fashion, it's not really been thought through properly. Like, I think it doesn't, like, it's great when it fixes incorrect decisions, like Spain the other day had an offside goal ruled out, but it wasn't actually offside, so they got the goal in the end, which is the right thing. And, you know, you think, especially back to Lampard against Germany, VAR would have prevented that kind of thing. But my issue is that we've also had incidents where teams have wanted VAR to be used. It's been suggested that VAR might have picked up on something that was missed. So, like, on what basis do the referees or the VAR people decide, okay, let's take another look at this, or let's not take another look at this? Which is why, because Morocco feel that they should have had, I can't remember what it was, but they feel that they should have been given a VAR check on something in the Portugal game that could have essentially given them an extra point rather than to lose against Portugal. So how exactly do you define when and when to not look something up at VAR? Because the whole idea is that you avoid human error, but if there's a human deciding whether to VAR something or not, then you're still susceptible to human error, which is why I kind of feel like if each team had like 5 VAR claims a game, then, you know, managers or captains can just go to the 5th official or something and be like, we want a VAR check on that. You might not think it's worthy of a VAR check, but at least then teams like Morocco can't complain and say, well, we wanted a VAR check on this. We watching at home on TV can't then say, oh, look, if they'd had a VAR check on that, they'd have probably got a penalty or they'd have probably had that goal stand. You see where I'm coming from? So it seems it's a step in the right direction, but maybe a step that's too soon and not been thought through thoroughly. But anyways, I think I'll assertively tell the boys good win, well done. It was, of course, only Saudi Arabia, but to put 6 goals past them is still positive, even though we couldn't quite keep the clean sheet the same way Switzerland did. But it was nice to see that Hector Alvarez got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 assists. But that is going to be it for this video. Apologies about the VAR rant. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Can we win the World Cup with Spain? I don't think so, but hey, we didn't think we were going to win the Nations League, did we? Main aim for us here, I think, is to do relatively okay in this World Cup and then take on the Euros, because that's really the ultimate aim for us at the moment. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.